Yo, what's up, Chef?
What up?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kitchen Speakers podcast. I have Chef Jason Licker here with me. What's up, Chef?
What's going on in San Diego?
Oh man, it's we just got over a little bit of rain, but you're in Thailand. What are you doing out there?
Yeah, man. There's only, I think, one country in all of Asia you can actually get a tourist visa for. So, as we know, our entire industry has been completely destroyed. And what I've been doing the past 2 years is, go around, do a lot of pop-ups, classes, and consulting. And that went from probably the busiest year I would have had to zero, which was bad. But it gave me an opportunity to finish my second book, Baking with Licker, which everyone should buy.
Yes.
Shameless plug.
Swipe up here.
Damn. And then, so I was in Hawaii for a few months, and then I came home to Boca Raton, living with my parents. Yes, I'm 44 years old, bald, single, and living with my parents. And then one of my friends was like, hey, there's a special tourist visa that's 3 months in Thailand. So I looked into it, and one of my friends already did it, so it made it a little bit easier for me to do the process because it's a freaking nightmare of paperwork. And it costs a little money, but there's like no COVID here. From the beginning, there's less than 30,000 cases, less than 100 deaths. It's just different in Asian countries when they just shut down because they're familiar with pandemics like this. Mm-hmm. So it took about 6 weeks to get the paperwork. I flew over here. I'm in quarantine. This is my second to last full day.
What?
And you know what? I got to say, I'm so impressed with how strict, and because I need a little discipline myself, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
These guys are strict. They're on it. The whole procedure, I'm like, why can't we do this? Instead of just letting everyone in our country like a free-for-all, whatever. But this place, so I got a few more days. Then I'm going to do some pop-ups and maybe look into doing something on my own here because Southeast Asia is just going to blow up.
Mm-hmm. So do it, man.
And what have you been up to?
Oh, I'm not in Asia where they don't do anything right. So, and I'm going to say you're from Florida, right? That's like.
I'm from New York.
That
New York.
Oh, you're from New York, but I thought you lived in Florida. That's what I meant.
My parents moved down to Florida like 25 years ago because they just got sick of the winters.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, I've been back to New York, and yeah, it's no bueno. Yeah, I'm born in Long Island, so.
Me too.
Huh?
Me too. I'm from the islands, Long Island.
Yeah, Strong Island, baby. Word, man. So you can do a couple pop-ups here, and then potentially look to open something up. That's really cool.
So here, I lived here before. I actually won Iron Chef Thailand here somehow in 2014, and
somehow
I just messaged them because I don't have the video, and they took it off YouTube. I'm gonna flip it out still because it's hilarious. It's the funniest. It's so funny because obviously I don't speak Thai, so it's pretty funny. I have a lot of friends here, and what's interesting here is a lot of the upscale Thai restaurants are not doing well because there's no tourism, but anything Western is selling great because if people can't leave the country, they want something Western to come to them. So I'm like, great, I'll sell cookies and cakes and whatever. So I'm going to do some stuff with some friends, and then just like everywhere else in the world, the market sort of dropped. Actually, maybe not even in the States, because I even looked at a few spaces in Florida and the rents were astronomical because everybody's moving to Florida. Mm-hmm. But here in Thailand, it's cheaper to do it. But of course, there's quite a lot of obstacles. But I see how the region is growing, and I'm like, maybe it's time to actually do something instead of just flying around, avoiding responsibility. Wait, that sounds too good. Wait.
That's awesome, man. So tell me about Liquorland and what it took that goes into it and what's in it.
Well, that was the first book. The second book was Baking with Licker.
Baking with Licker. Yeah, I have Liquorland actually right here.
Yes.
Great resource. Baking with Licker.
Baking with liquor, which I'll get to you. So actually, I didn't think this book was going to be done until 2021. But thanks to COVID, I was on my way actually from Hawaii to Indonesia, and I got stuck in Hawaii. And my friend has a 2-bedroom. He's like, "Yo, just stay here and do your thing." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Cool." So I stayed in Hawaii for 5 months, and it was a little difficult because my editor was in Hong Kong, the designer was in Seattle, and the photographer was in Bangkok. So it was a bit of a logistical nightmare, and I learned a lot of lessons from the first one, a lot, and I brought them into the second one, and it made it a little smoother. Mm-hmm. The only thing that really hurt was that, like, I sold the majority of my books doing events, traveling around, and now I can't do that. Mm-hmm. But it's still doing well, and it's a finalist in the World Gourmand Cookbook Awards in Paris this year in June. It's one of 3 or 4 cookbooks for Best Asian Cookbook. That's great. And I submitted it to one of the massive award competition that hopefully I'll hear from in May. So hopefully it works out. But like when I've talked about this before, it all starts with the writing and editing, because that's a freaking nightmare. Mm-hmm. Like, I self-publish. I don't have a publishing team behind me. Mm-hmm. You know, we do it organic ourselves and make it fun and try to make it different than everything else that's out there. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, starting with the cover. Mm-hmm. You're either going to love the cover. Hey, look, there's some guy flying, or you're like, oh, look, there's some meth addict. This is like some meth addict on the cover.
You know what I like is that he was just nonchalant. Was like, yeah, I was stuck in Hawaii for 5 months, so I. It's that's the worst.
Dude, 2 blocks from the beach was rough for a bald man.
It's rough, man. So you're from New York. You're a Knicks fan, right?
There we go.
Yeah. It's a good year though. That wasn't a good game, that last game. Tell me, how do you feel about that?
John Randall needs to chill out a little bit. Well, okay. I think New Yorkers are. I can't switch teams. I just can't switch teams. Like, I'm a diehard New York Jets. That's another thing. They suck. Knicks and Yankees and Islanders, because I'm from Long Island. Nassau Coliseum. Woo woo. So yeah, man, diehard Knicks fan, and they're like going to make the playoffs, which is shocking. But the Nets are just going to steamroll everyone. These guys, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they do need to play better defense, but I think that, yeah, with their offensive power, they're going to be very hard to beat. You know, they're pretty much just score at will practically between those 3, you know, and I feel like they're saving Durant for the playoffs. They know they're making it. They're like, he did get a little hurt, but I think they're just saving him.
And what's great here is I get stream all the games, because it's like now my time, and I watched the Nets and Knicks, of course, which was just disgusting. But I'm just watching Joe Harris draining threes.
Wide open.
I'm like, this guy's going to have a career year of his life. It's just ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then you add Jake, and I'm like, who's going to beat these guys?
Is it I wonder if it's a contract year for Harris. If it is, he's going to get paid next year.
Paid.
Yeah.
Sure.
For sure. Yeah, but back to that game though, man. I thought that the Knicks did a pretty good job getting back into it. It's just that Randall should have maybe passed it to Alec Burks at the end there instead of going up to shoot, and he let little Kyrie kind of block it, which was interesting. But it was a bad call too, though.
That was a bad call. He was fouled.
Yeah.
I'm screaming. I'm screaming in my little quarantine jail cell here. So, like animation.
So speaking of basketball, do you know what a sneakerhead is?
Yeah.
I call this part sneakerhead. And I just want to know, what's your go-to shoe in the kitchen, Chef?
Well, I use running shoes in the kitchen.
Or
So I have these Asics super soft, like gel running sneakers because even though, yeah, I've almost slipped on my ass and broke my neck. But when you're working 14 hours a day, like those, like I don't like Crocs or Birkenstocks. My back's all screwed up anyway, just like probably every other guy's back. So these work well for me.
mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, if somebody came out with a brand like that actually is comfortable and kitchen safe, because I've never worn comfortable chef shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, screw it.
I feel it, man. I've had Crocs, Birkenstocks. I feel like I've had them all, and not to name any other companies, but like I am personally, I like basketball shoes.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they could just have the proper grip, because you are sliding a little bit there, but the comfort that you get from sports shoes is another level, and you're paying for it. But it's like I've been trying to get a shoe deal, a chef shoe deal, and
that would be not only would it blow up, I'm sure within a year that a major company would try to buy you out. I have no doubt. That's what you want. You blow it up and you're like, all right, I'll be at the beach the rest of my life.
So you're saying I should make my own shoe? That seems, I didn't think.
Yeah. I mean, I know, you know what? I know a lot of shoes are made in Vietnam. Like all Nike's made in Vietnam. And yet we're paying like $150 for something that probably cost $5.
Facts.
Not.
Facts.
Yeah. But for me, like, because my back is all fucked up from thinking I was Arnold Schwarzenegger when I was young, lifting stupid weights like an idiot. And then when you're on your feet and your lower back feels like there's a chef knife lodged in it, if you don't have good sneakers or shoes, it sucks.
That was you painted a nice little picture there for me, man.
It's horrible.
Very graphic.
Yeah. I'm good at that. But
I like that.
You should look into that. I mean, I'll meet you in Vietnam.
Yeah, man. We'll talk then. You're near there, huh?
Dude, I'm not neighbors, man.
Yeah, that's super awesome, man. Like, that's really cool. I admire that you travel and you follow your dreams and you push ahead. You know what I mean? And like COVID, I would imagine affected you pretty bad. You know what I mean? As you said, so like to push forward and push through. And now here you are, thinking about on a 3-month visa, thinking about starting something over there is pretty awesome, man. That's pretty badass.
Well, I think what COVID really made people do, you're gonna either go one of two ways. You're gonna sink into an abyss of depression, which a lot of my friends have, and I've been like a therapist, or you're gonna capitalize in the situation and really take it as a personal challenge. And that's what I do. I'm like, what the hell can I do trapped in my house? So I found a website and I started making some merch. And even though I haven't sold much, it's there. I'm like, what can we do? I'm like, I could make phone cases, like
Actually, for the people. That's right.
T-shirts, I'm like, how can I start building a brand, out of nowhere? Like, and I just keep on looking on Instagram, like, these guys are selling shirts. Who the hell's buying this stuff? So I'm like, I'll make some shirts. Like, why not?
Yeah.
And then when I saw this visa was available, I mean, it was pretty complicated. You needed like a background, but you can get a 30-day, 45-day visa if you're American to come here, and you don't need as much paperwork. But I mean, like, why? That's a cool little trip because they really want tourism here. And there's so I'm like, no, I'm gonna get the 90-day, and you can renew it twice. So I needed like a background check, bank statements, 2 health checks, all this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Like, screw it. You can't contain me. For me, like, I think in our world, especially our world, like food and beverage, the next year is crucial, especially not even the work. I think more mentally. Because I just think a lot of people are suffering.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will not be open and say things, So I think it's going to be an interesting challenge because I wonder if it's going to recover like everybody thinks it is, or are we going to deviate to the new normal, which I think we will. So I don't think it's just going to all of a sudden rush back. Hey, everybody's in restaurants. Woo! No, I think this has sort of changed us forever. And what we need to do is to be smart and adapt. But I could be completely wrong and not know what I'm saying. So.
I mean, I agree with you 100%, man. I think obviously there will be the pockets of places that already currently are open that people are going to rush back. But you know, for the most part, there's a majority of people who are going to be insecure about eating out and or being in large crowds quite yet. You know, I mean, even though you know if you get the vaccine, we don't know how. You know, it's supposed to be 90% effective, but we don't know because things mutate and they adapt because so we don't know if this COVID-19 is going to be there already was another strain of it. So we don't know where that is. And I know me, I'm one of those people who can be like, looking over, let me see what happens over there. I will be getting the vaccine. Sure. I'm getting my first shot next week, but awesome. I'm still going to be like,
It's interesting because I lived in Asia for about 15 years and
wow.
My perspective of what's happening is different than everyone I know because, nobody's experienced anything like this. And I was in Asia during swine flu, bird flu, where even when you're sick and there's nothing going on, people wear masks.
I like that.
When you're on they have like motorcycle taxis here, which is awesome. Like you just, go on like Uber and get a taxi. Like everyone's wearing a mask because the air is a little polluted and you don't want to be like eating rocks. So for me, I was like, actually, you know what? I want people to, I don't want to see everybody's face. Okay.
Yeah. And my face is warm now. I'm going out and I'm warm and I have a face where like, if you're talking to me and you can see me, you can totally read what I'm thinking. So with a mask on, it hides a lot of that. So
I don't mind that.
So if I'm thinking, and you know what I mean? Like you
story for like 20 minutes and I'm just looking off. I'm like, what? Because you can't even tell if you're paying attention.
But I think that when people get sick, like the flu, why not wear a mask, right? And I realized I was bad at it. I used to go and I'd sit in a restaurant and I think I could eat my soup and I'm sick. I was the worst person. And now I'm looking back like, man, that was terrible. Like I had no business being out and I should have had a mask on because then that's how we spread it. And especially now I have kids. I realize kids, man, they just touch. I'm like, get away from me.
What's wild was like I'm in Florida and Miami is just a free-for-all. Like it's like the COVID hotspot. Nobody cares until they get it. Like I follow one of these Instagrams like Lifestyle Miami and I'm like, what the hell is going on? People dancing on top of cop cars. I'm like, everybody like, what the hell is going on down there? Like, it's just wild. And I was doing a little work in Tampa and it was just like rocking. I was like, what the hell is going on here? There's no rules. You should wear a mask on the way in. You take you take it off. There's like 300 people in this restaurant without a mask. But I mean, it's getting better. Thank God. I didn't get the vaccine before I left, but if I have an opportunity to get it here, I'm all over the American consulate. Then I'll get one that I think is safe. Mm-hmm. But I know the anti-vaxxers are going crazy, but then, I often think about, let's just, say it, like all the substances I put in my body, the last thing I'm worried about is a vaccine.
Yeah.
I'm like, I lived through that.
I used to be an anti-vaxxer, not like extremist, but I used to be kind of like, I don't know. You know what I mean? That's why I said, I'll get the vaccine, but before I go out in a large crowd, I'm like, oh, wait. But like, I used to be like that. And then, I don't know, getting married, having kids and stuff like that, that changed me kind of to think about it. Cause my wife works, in the medical field. So she, kind of has to get it. You know what I mean? So it's like, I was a little more open to I started getting the flu shot. So that was my gateway. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, you know what I mean? I'll get the vaccine.
It is, don't get me wrong. It is scary.
But I think, my wife's already got both of hers. My mom's already had one, getting her second one tomorrow. So it's all good, man. We'll be all right. So let's switch gears here a little bit.
Yeah.
Enough with the anti-algorithm talk. But it's all good. So I'm gonna throw some random questions at you, man. Try to have a little more fun here. So name 3 chefs, 3 cooks who you would go to war with. You got 500 covers on the books coming to your pop-up, and you can only go 2 other people to bang it out. Anyone in the world, who are you gonna choose?
Oh man. 3?
You and 2 other people.
You and 2 others.
A rough night.
Jesus Christ. I'd say my bro Luis Roberto Richards in Mexico City. He just won San Pellegrino Best Pastry Chef of Latin America. He has Tal Chocolat. He's a freaking rock star. Works his ass off. His chocolates are some of the best I've ever had. I mean, he's definitely number 1. He's a bro. We went to culinary school together. I sort of had hair back then. Number 2, oh man, because I'm usually a one-man army, to be honest. I usually do everything on my own.
I'm familiar with that.
I gotta say, I'll take Angel Betancourt, who's the pastry chef for the one and only in Cabo San Lucas. He's ready to charge the castle blindfolded.
Dope, man. Dope. It's cool to see who people pick, and then it's like it's your chance to shout out the homies real quick, at the same time.
Yeah, but it's like it's these guys are like, it's not just like I respect them in their work. It's like I know, like in any situation in the kitchen and out, if I need something, they'll step up right away, and they know I do the same.
Heard.
So yeah.
So my next question.
That was good.
Are you a Ouiii chef? Yes, chef, or a Hey Jason chef?
I'm a Ouiii chef. I'm a team guy.
Okay, her.
Ouiii. Like Ouiii. What do you want? Fine. Okay, 10,000 of these. Let's go.
Word up. So, what is your weirdest flex? Do you know what I mean by that? What is you kind of bragging but not bragging? You know what I mean? You kind of nonchalantly bragging. What's your weirdest flex?
The Iron Chef Thailand one is pretty good.
That's a pretty damn good flex, right?
The whole thing about it is like, it's just hilarious because the whole story's funny. How like I met these guys in 2014 and they came to eat lunch and I didn't believe there was even a show. I'm like, who are these people? And I'm looking like it's Iron Chef Thailand. It's in the States. They copied the show exactly. That's why my episode's not on YouTube, because they told me stop hashtagging America Iron Chef. Da da da. I'm like, what? So what? But it's a huge show here, and nobody believes me. And I don't have the tape, but I have pictures to back it up. And I'm like, here it is. Like, oh, okay, that's cool. Or we go out drinking, and I'm like, yeah, I wrote a few books, and everybody's like, there's no way this guy can even like write a sentence.
That's crazy, right? How like you can be talking to someone and they'll have like a few books under their belt, and you would just never know. That's super crazy. So
especially when you're out and about in the night, I get sometimes.
I'm usually in a sweater and sweats, man. I'm like flip flops, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, I got some flexes, and so it's funny because people are like, oh, who's this guy? And then,
and they go on Instagram and go, what the hell?
For real?
like, damn, I should have placed an order.
This guy came to fix our washer and dryer the other day. He came through my studio kitchen, and he was looking around, and he's like, are you famous? I was like, nah, man. And he was like, can I take a picture with you? And I was like, all right. It was hilarious.
Like, hold on. Let me get my chef's jacket on.
Yeah, hold on, man. Hold on. Let me get braided real quick. So, all right. So I called this boiled over. Give me one example. You can keep it PG or not, but one example of one time you just really blew a lid.
I'll tell you a funny story.
Okay.
So when I was in Hong Kong working at the JW Marriott, I was never manager on duty. And then the executive chef was away. I was the pastry chef. And I didn't know that he put my name on as manager on duty, and it was a Saturday. So obviously I got completely shit-faced on Friday, went into work obliterated drunk, and in the locker room, there were bunk beds. That's where I used to hide and like take a nap for a few hours. So I go crawl into the bunk bed in the corner. I'm like, and I stick out a little bit in Hong Kong, So all of a sudden I feel somebody pulling on my leg. And I just go like this, who the fuck is that? Oh, sorry. And what do you want? I turned around, it was the general manager.
Oh,
and I was like this. Hi, Mr. Conklin. And he's like, see you in my office. I go to, he's like, why are you sleeping if you know your manager on duty? And I was like, a manager on duty?
That's epic, man. Thank you for sharing. That's a class.
And I was like, oh. He's like, if you can't do it, then don't have your name written down. And I was like, me?
It's like, you guys picked me to be manager?
Me. And then he's like, you need to take a shower. That was pretty funny. I'm like, I'm going to get fired for being hammered.
That's hilarious, man. That's
as if you like
funny. So, how
I'll say this, the pandemic, this actually, I barely drink anymore, which is it took a world catastrophe to get me to stop drinking.
Oh, you just came back on a run, man. So you living a healthy life. Respect.
Well, mostly.
Yeah, as long as I've known you, going on 2 years now.
I was in your garage of like 5 years ago.
Oh, it seems like it, huh? You're a strapping man, So respect, dude. So
gotta keep it.
So how I like to end it is a little more on a serious note. Okay. Or not, it doesn't have to be, but most people have gone very serious. So with you, who knows? But if you want let me get it out. If you want people to know one thing about you, what would it be?
That I live life to the fullest. That's it. You get one. That's it. You get one ticket on this rodeo. Let's go, baby.
Heard.
Like I want, people to live without fear, without restrictions. Look outside the box before you get stuck in one. I love what I do, but it's not who I am. But I think, we're all of humanity is going into a new era. And I think it's going to be a difficult time for a lot of people. And people need to, instead of being whiny, spoiled, egomaniac pricks, they need to be more empathetic, nurturing, and loving. Because I'm seeing a lot of the younger generation, voicing up, and I'm like, yo, man, these kids got no respect. Like I saw some clip with Cam Newton.
Yeah. At
his camp, some kid mouthing off. And I was like, dude, they're at his camp. It's some young punk talking to like a former MVP. Are you nuts? I said, like, need a little, we got to guide the younger generation and just live life to the fullest. And just, we got to take the power back.
Heard. I'm for it. Chef. Man. Well, thank you for coming on Kitchen Speakers. It was a pleasure. And enjoy your time in Thailand and kick ass out there. I know you will, Chef.
Thank you, brother. I'll be watching you. Keep on rocking out that content. It's amazing. I love what you do. And I got to come back. Every time we speak or chat, I'm like, I got to come back. So hopefully you can get back there soon.
Yeah. We got to get you in the test kitchen really quick. Awesome. How can people find you? And what should they look for?
You can find me probably on Instagram at Jason Licker. My website is jasonlicker.com. You can get the James Beard nominated Liquorland on my website or on Amazon, or the newly released Baking with Liquor on Amazon or my website. Both go worldwide, so there's no excuse, people. We put a lot of hard work into this to make it special. It's not like, everything else out there in the market. That's the benefit of self-publishing. But, it's fun. It's good. The recipes are real. And anyone that messages me, I always answer. This is my job now as I'm getting a little elder to help people make their dreams come true.
Heard. You heard that here, folks. Respect. Look out for Jason Licker. Peace.